Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Meetinghouse of Provincetown, where we affirm the inherent worthiness and dignity of every person, and where we support each other on our spiritual search for truth and meaning. My name is Reverend Kate Wilkinson, and I am so glad that you are here this morning. Welcome to those of you in the room, and welcome also to those of you joining us via our live stream. Happy Pride! Every day in Provincetown is kind of Pride Day, but we put some extra emphasis this week as we celebrate. And this morning, I'm delighted to welcome to our pulpit Claire Willis. Claire is the co-chair of our worship committee and has offered many wonderful workshops here on aging, on grief, and on creating a legacy from our everyday lives. She is a clinical social worker and the author of 2 books, Opening to Grief and Lasting Words, A Guide to Finding Meaning Toward the Close of Life. Thank you so much for sharing your message with us this morning, Claire. Before we go on with our service, I have just a few announcements to share. First, I want to welcome our interim music director, Heather Watson. Heather is excited to spend the summer at the Meetinghouse, already feeling so welcomed by this community. A native Oklahoman, she recently moved to Wellfleet to pursue music with her band, Fortunate Daughter. In school, she studied classical piano and later completed a master's degree in music therapy. Heather works with people of all ages and abilities through music and believes in access to the arts for each person. During the week, you can find Heather leading groups at the center at Cape Cod Village, playing in bands, coaching volleyball, teaching piano, and picking oysters. A girl after my own heart. Welcome again, Heather. This afternoon at 3 o'clock, we will be honoring the life of Ken Lonergan, our beloved town crier for many years. We hope you can join us to celebrate his memory and bring comfort to his family. Next Sunday, June 15th, is our Flower Communion Sunday. So please bring a flower with you next week so that we can create a gorgeous communal bouquet during the service, and you'll take a different flower home with you when you leave. At coffee hour today, we hope you'll stop by our UUMH action table. Each week during coffee hour, we are offering an action that you can take to support our Unitarian Universalist values in the world. This might be by writing a thank you note or signing a petition, making a donation, or calling a senator. Just one thing we can do a week to make us feel less hopeless and more powerful. Because today's service is about grief, our action today is to send a card to someone who is grieving. Just a note of support that might make their day a tiny bit better. We've provided cards and envelopes for you at the action table, and you can write them here or bring them home. This isn't in my script, but I'm just feeling the need to send our prayerful energy to Los Angeles this morning. I don't know the latest on what's happening there, but there were some protests after some ICE raids there, and there's been talk of sending in the National Guard. I don't know what we'll be called to do in the coming days and weeks, but for now, can we just send our prayerful energy there for peace and for safety? Thank you. I feel like I can be a little more present now. Finally, if you are here in person, we hope that you will stick around for a little while after the service ends for coffee and conversation downstairs in Acker Bosworth Hall. Let's take a moment now to affirm our community's covenant. You can find this on the little purple laminated cards in your pews, or you can just listen line by line as I say it. I invite you to repeat each line after me. Love is the spirit of this meeting house.
Love is the spirit of this meeting house.
This is our great covenant.
This is our great covenant.
To dwell together in peace.
To dwell together in peace.
To seek the truth in love.
To seek the truth in love.
And to help one another. And now, as we light our chalice here in the sanctuary, I invite those of you watching online to light a candle wherever you are. In this way, we can feel connected even as we are apart. I invite Myra to light our chalice this morning, and I invite you to breathe in and out with me as Myra lights the chalice and I read these words by Craig Rowland. I breathe in the warmth of this light, its glow filling the spaces where fear and doubt reside. I breathe out the tension I carry and release what no longer serves me. I breathe in the strength of our community, a sanctuary of diverse voices and shared purpose. I breathe out the urge to go it alone. I embrace the power of togetherness. I breathe in the courage to speak truth even when it trembles on my lips. I breathe out the silence that holds me back and makes space for honesty and justice. I breathe in the hope of transformation, knowing we are here to build and to heal. I breathe out despair, trusting that change is born in small acts of love. As we light this chalice, may each breath remind us of the sacred rhythm of life, the pulse of creation, and the power we hold to shape the world around us. Thank you. And won't you please join me in singing our opening hymn, number 1002, Comfort Me. That's 1002 in these teal hymnals, Comfort Me. Please rise as you are able. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me. more time, comfort me. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. You may be seated.
Good morning. My name is Claire Willis, and I'm honored this morning to be the guest speaker and offer this reflection called Searching for a Mustard Seed, Serving Those in Sorrow. With that in mind, I invite you now into a time of meditation and prayer as I read this poem by the poet James Cruz. During this time, or at any time during the service, you're welcome and invited to light a candle, a silent candle at the table to the right of the pulpit, where there is a journal to record your thoughts and prayers. After our prayer, we will sing together Spirit of Life, which is hymn number 123, also printed on the purple laminated cards in your pews. First, we will sing it in English, and then we will sing it in Spanish. Sanctuary State by James Cruz. Make me refuge, safe space, sanctuary for all who pass through. Let my body be the threshold, open door to peace, so that as soon as someone meets me, hears me speak, they will feel a pair of arms opening, wide to hold them for who they are. Make me shiver of recognition, sigh of relief, ripple of warmth that rides the air between us any time you believe you are unloved and unwanted here.
Our first reading this morning is entitled Talking to Grief by Denise Levertov. Ah, grief, I should not treat you like a homeless dog who comes to the back door for a crust, for a meatless bone. I should trust you. I should coax you into the house and give you your own corner, a worn mat to lie on, your own water dish. You think I don't know you've been living under my porch. You long for your real place to be readied before winter comes. You need your name, your collar and tag. You need the right to warn off intruders, to consider my house your own, and me your person, and yourself my own dog. I invite Ada to give our second reading.
How to comfort someone, James Cruz. Be the patch of sunlight on the floor so that as someone comes near, they feel your warmth and can bask in it, in the subtle glow. Be the clear window with shades pulled up and the sparkle of snow, which holds space for all that falls into it. Be the water glass filled at the faucet, then offered to another in need, and let them drink and drink until it's time for you to go, leaving like the slow fade.
Now is the time in our service where we take a collection for the ongoing support of this Meetinghouse and our shared ministry. As we enjoy a musical reflection by our choir, we welcome your donations here in the sanctuary or online through PayPal or Venmo. You can find that information on our website, uumh.org. And there are QR codes in the pews as well. At this time, I invite 3 volunteer ushers to come forward for the collection. On and off site, your offerings will now be gratefully received.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you. I woke up this morning and I wrote down this song. I just can't remember who to send it to. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. Sunny days.
Wow, that was really beautiful. As an aside, before I start, I want to just say that I'm aware we're living in an extraordinary time when, in addition to the personal griefs we carry, there's a sense that I think all of us are carrying a level of sorrow about the time in which we're living. A friend recently said to me, "We are all wearing black armbands." It stopped me in my tracks, and immediately I felt a softening of my eyes and a different way of perceiving others. What if when I looked at each person I encountered in a day, or each time I felt an irritation or an impatience when I'm driving, which I'm prone to do, with someone, and if I paused and imagined that they were wearing a black armband above their elbow, a tradition across many cultures as a sign of grief and suffering. When my friend said this to me, I immediately thought of this well-known and often told Buddhist story about a woman named Kisa Gotami. Kisa married young and gave birth to a son. One day, the baby fell sick and died soon after. Kisa Gotami loved her son greatly and refused to believe that her child was dead. She carried the body of her son around her village, asking if there was anyone who could bring her son back to life. The villagers all saw that the son was already dead, and there was nothing that could be done. They advised her to accept this death and make arrangements for the funeral. In great grief, she fell upon her knees and she clutched her son's body close to hers. She kept uttering and calling for her son to wake up. A village elder took pity on her and suggested that she consult with the Buddha. "Kisa Gotami, we cannot help you," they said, "but you should go to the Buddha. Maybe he can bring your son back to life," the townspeople said. Kisa was extremely excited about hearing the elder's words. She immediately went to the Buddha's residence and pleaded for him to bring her son back to life. "Kisa, I have a way to bring your son back," the Buddha said to her. "My Lord," she said, "I will do anything to bring him back." "If that is the case," the Buddha said, "then I need you to find me something. Bring me a mustard seed, but it must be taken from a house where someone is residing who has never lost a family member. Bring this seed back to me, and your son will come back to life." Having great faith in the Buddha's promise, Kisa Gotami went from house to house trying to find a mustard seed. At the first house, a young woman offered to give her some mustard seeds, but when Kisa Gotami asked if she'd lost a family member to death, the young woman said her grandmother died a few months ago. Kisa Gotami thanked the young woman and explained why the mustard seed did not fulfill the Buddha's requirements. She moved on to the second house. A husband died a few years ago. The third house lost an uncle, and the fourth house lost an aunt. She kept moving from house to house, but the answer was all the same. Every family had lost someone. Kisa finally came to realize that there was no one in the world who had never lost a family or loved one to death or suffered a different kind of loss. She now understood that death is inevitable and a natural part of life. Have any of you found a mustard seed? Besides losing loved ones to death, there are so many other reasons we might be carrying grief. Imagine thinking of all the people you know as all wearing a black armband, giving something, not only death, but perhaps the loss of a pet, their home, the loss of a job, whether from retirement or being let go, the loss of government or democracy as we once knew it to be, or the loss of kindness in our community. Perhaps you wear the black armband grieving a place you have loved that no longer exists as you remember it. Or you grieve the faces of starving men and women and children you have never known in war-torn countries, but whose beleaguered faces enter your home and your heart through images in the newspaper and on television. Or vast areas of our planet that have been strip-mined or clear-cut forests. Or perhaps you're grieving something as amorphous as the loss of the life you dreamed of, but you never had and continue to wish for. Yes, we each are wearing black armbands. Some of us might be more aware of the sorrows we're carrying than others, but we're all wearing black armbands. I recently read a best-selling book that many of you may know or have read called The Amen Effect by Rabbi Sharon Brous, a leading American rabbi and the founder of ICAR, a progressive synagogue in LA. Rabbi Brous believes that the spiritual work of our time, as instinctual as it is countercultural, is to find our way to one another in celebration, in sorrow, and solidarity. To show up for each other in moments of joy and pain, in vulnerability and possibility, and build communities of care. And I would add that this book was written before the last election. Her words seem more important than ever. In her book, she describes a somewhat obscure 2,000-year-old text, which has been her teacher and guide for the last few years, and most recently, her North Star. She, like many of us, have felt as if she'd been drowning in an ocean of sorrow and helplessness. Buried deep within the Mishnah, a Jewish legal compendium from around the 3rd century, is an ancient practice reflecting a deep understanding of the human psyche and spirit. When your heart is broken, when the specter of death visits your family, when you feel lost and alone and inclined to retreat, you show up. You entrust your pain to the community. The text describes a pilgrimage ritual from the time of the Second Temple. Several times each year, hundreds of thousands of Jewish people would ascend to Jerusalem, the center of Jewish religious and political life. They would climb the steps of the Temple Mount and enter its enormous plaza, turning to the right, encircling en masse, circling counterclockwise. Meanwhile, the brokenhearted, the mourners, and here I would also include the lonely, the sick, which includes all of us, would make the same ritual walk, but they would turn to the left and circle in the opposite direction. Every step walking against the current, just as we each can feel when we're grieving. And as each person encountered someone with pain, they would look into that person's eyes and ask, "What happened to you? Why does your heart ache?" "My father died," someone might say. "There are so many things I never got to say to him," another might say. Or perhaps, "My partner left. I was completely blindsided." Or, "My child is sick. We're waiting the test results." Or, "I have a tumor. I've lost my job. My dog died. I'm estranged from my best friend." Those who walked from the right would offer a blessing. "May the Holy One comfort you," they might say. Or, "You are not alone." Or maybe, "May you be wrapped in the embrace of this community." Or, "I see you. May you find support as you navigate this difficult moment. Remember, we are all here for you." Words like that of comfort. And then they would continue to walk until they had made eye contact with the next person, and so it went. Imagine saying to somebody today, "Tell me about your sorrow." That may be the deepest affirmation of our humanity in these terribly inhumane and unkind times. The timeless wisdom embedded in this practice speaks to what it means to be human in a world of pain. This year, you may walk the path of the anguished. Perhaps next year, it will be me. Implicit in this practice is the assumption that I hold your broken heart now, knowing that one day you will hold mine. In this ritual, we find one another in our greatest darkness, so we are not forced to navigate our tough times alone. Instead of isolating, we try and build circles and communities of compassion and care. The Rabbi, Sharon Brous, says, "Reach out in your strength and step forward in your vulnerability." Reach out in your strength and step forward in your vulnerability. Paradoxically, at this time when we need more than ever to be connected to each other, we find ourselves more isolated and lonely. In my reading, I was surprised to learn that loneliness is a threat to democracies. Hannah Arendt, the great 20th century philosopher, argued widespread social alienation is a precondition for the flourishing of violent political extremism. She writes, "Terror can rule absolutely only over people who are isolated against each other. Therefore, one of the primary concerns of all tyrannical governments is to bring this isolation about. Isolation may be the beginning of terror. It certainly is its most fertile ground. It is always as its result." For Arendt, she felt that isolation was impotence. The more limited our meaningful contact with one another, the more we cannot act together toward the common good, let alone to respond effectively to great dangers. Alone and apart, we are powerless. It is a matter of the greatest urgency that we address our instinct to retreat from one another with a reinvigorated commitment to step toward one another, especially in difficult times. So ironically, what gives us grief and reason to be more connected also makes us feel more lonely and isolated. It's an expression of both love and sacred responsibility to turn to another person in her moment of deepest anguish and say, "Your sorrow may scare me, it may unsettle me, but I will not abandon you. I will meet your grief with relentless love." We cannot magically fix one another's broken hearts, but we can find each other in our most vulnerable moments and wrap each other up in a circle of care. We can humbly promise each other, "I can't take your pain away, but I can promise you you will not hold it alone." However, for many of us, it can be difficult to show up for another's pain. Sometimes I think that our hesitancy comes from feeling we have to do something to alleviate the suffering of another person. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever avoided another person you knew was grieving or suffering because you felt helpless, or it brought up too many of your own fears? Author and physician Rachel Remen wrote a wonderful article called "Helping, Fixing, Serving." She describes eloquently the important distinction between these three different ways of being with one another. Helping, fixing, and serving. When we help, we see life as weak. When we fix, we may see it as broken. When we serve, we see life as whole. Fixing and helping may be the work of the ego, but service is the work of the soul. Service rests on the premise that the nature of life is sacred, that life is a holy mystery which has an unknown purpose. When we serve, we know that we belong to life and we belong to that purpose. From the perspective of service, we are all connected. All suffering is like my suffering, and all joy is like my joy. The impulse to serve emerges naturally and inevitably from this way of seeing, so there's no separation. Serving is different from helping. Helping is often not a relationship between equals. A helper may see others as weaker than they are, needier than they are. And people often feel this inequality and disparity. The danger in helping is that we may inadvertently take away from people more than we give them. We may diminish their self-esteem, their sense of worth, integrity, or even wholeness, even when our intentions are the best. When we help, we become aware of our own strength. But when we serve, we don't serve with our strength. We serve with ourselves from our vulnerability, and we draw from all of our experiences. Our limitations serve, our wounds serve, even our darkness can serve. My pain becomes the source of my compassion. My woundedness is the key to my empathy. Service is a relationship between equals. Our service strengthens us as well as others. Fixing and helping can be draining, and over time we may burn out, but service is renewing. When we serve, our work itself will renew us. In helping, we may find a sense of satisfaction. In serving, we find a sense of gratitude. The ancient rabbis ask us to imagine a society in which no person is disposable. Even those who have hurt us, even those with views antithetical to ours, must be seen in their humanity and held with curiosity and care. Imagine a society in which we learn to see one another in our pain, to ask one another, "What happened to you?" Imagine that we hear one another's stories, say amen to one another's pain, and even pray for one another's healing. Brauss calls this the amen effect, sincere, tender encounters that help us forge new spiritual and neural pathways by reminding us that our lives and our destinies are deeply intertwined. Because ultimately, it is only by finding our way to one another that we will begin to heal. And let's all try to remember that none of us is able to find a mustard seed, and that we're all wearing a black armband.
Thank you, Claire. Won't you join me in singing our closing hymn, number 411, in these gray hymnals, Part in Peace. That's number 411 in the gray hymnals, Part in Peace. Please rise as you are able. You may be seated. It has become our practice to pose a question based on the theme of the service each week. It can be a topic of sharing at coffee hour today or with friends during the week. If you'd like to delve deeper into this question, we invite you to join us at our Zoom coffee hour on Tuesday evening at 5 o'clock. Please contact the office if you need that link. Our question this week is, where does it feel safe to step forward in your vulnerability? And where can you reach out from your strength? Where does it feel safe to step forward in your vulnerability? And where can you reach out from your strength?
Just end with these closing words. May our black armbands become a source of service. May we step forward in our vulnerability. May we reach out from our strength. And may we listen deeply and open our hearts to the suffering of each other. Go in peace.